Thank you so much for joining us for Reviewer Training for Community Early Childhood Council Grants. My name is Hazel Combs, and I work in the Governor's Office for Early Childhood, and I have the privilege of working with the Community Early Childhood Council. Today, I'm going to walk you through the grant process. First off, congratulations on being selected to be a reviewer for the CECC grant. Simply put, we couldn't do our work without you. You play a critical role as we all work toward improving the early childhood picture in Kentucky and helping our most at-risk children get prepared for success in school and beyond. So thank you for your efforts and interest in Community Early Childhood Council. You all have received an email that invited you to attend this webinar. On it were several important documents, including the CECC 2015-16 RSA Toolkit, the archived webinar that each CECC was invited to watch explaining the process, the appendix of forms, and a document called Frequently Asked Questions. I will make reference to these documents many times throughout the webinar, but the RSA in this year's instruction is how the CECCs go about applying for the grants. Please take a moment now to locate the documents and be ready to reference it as we proceed with today's webinar. If for some reason you did not receive the email or did not get the attachments, you can find a copy on our website, kidsnow.gov. The link is located on the right-hand side of the page about halfway down under Communities. Hopefully today's webinar will not take more than 20 to 25 minutes. We're going to give you a brief history of the Community Early Childhood Council, your responsibilities as a reviewer, and tips on how to score a CECC application, and we're going to talk about some lessons that we have learned through the years. If you have any questions after viewing the webinar, please feel free to contact me at hazel, H-A-Z-E-L, .combs@ky.gov. So let's talk about the history of CECCs. First of all, there may be some of you who may be new to the Community Early Childhood Council. We're giving you a brief background of how the councils were formed and their mission. Community Early Childhood Councils, also known as and often referred to as CECCs, were first formed in the year 2000 as part of the Kids Now Early Childhood Initiative. The Kids Now Initiative uses 25% of tobacco settlement dollars to improve early childhood development in Kentucky. CECCs are eligible to apply for grants funded from the Kids Now tobacco settlement dollars to work collaboratively with members of their community to promote the school readiness among children 0 to 5 years old. The goal of the Kids Now Early Childhood Initiative is to ensure that all young children in Kentucky are healthy and safe, possess the foundation to enable school and personal success, and live in strong families that are supported and strengthened in their communities. In short, CECCs address the unique needs and strengths of local communities related to early childhood. The Community Early Childhood Council is a vehicle for bringing together many community members to support issues important to families and children. A council can represent an area as small as a single county, or it can represent multiple counties. Members of a county can be anyone in a community that has an interest in early childhood. Members could include Head Start, child care, public preschool, libraries, parents of young children, grandparents, community extension agents, business leaders, and again, anyone who has an interest in the area of early childhood. CECCs use new and existing relationships within communities to build and sustain support for early childhood development. CECCs use their funding to support activities that address the unique needs of their community. As we point out here, and I'll point it out again, there are required members of CECC. Those are the Head Start, the preschool community, and representatives from child care in a community. The Governor's Office of Early Childhood administers the Kids Now funding, including CECC grants. We support the CECCs by setting priorities for councils to focus on and provide training and technical assistance to help councils achieve their goals. This year, the Governor's Office of Early Childhood has given the council 3 priorities to focus on. First, school readiness. In Kentucky, school readiness means each child enters school ready to engage in and benefit from early learning experience that best promotes the child's success. One measure of school readiness is the Brigance Screener scores, which are part of the early childhood profile for each county. We ask CECCs to use that information to help determine their activities for the year. The early childhood profile can be accessed in our RFA toolkit. The applications that you review should clearly outline how a council's activities will improve the school readiness of the children in their community. Councils may take many approaches to achieving this goal, but each application should describe how funds will be used to meet the priority. Second is the focus on data to determine outcomes. An outcome is basically a desired effect of an action. Applicants should clearly state what outcome they wish to affect for each activity. The application should also state how the council intends to measure progress on that outcome. We use the language this year that plans should include integrated strategies will be given preference. How has the council utilized the early childhood profile? How have they integrated the school readiness definition into their activities? Lastly, the Governor's Office of Early Childhood has asked councils to increase the collaboration by including 3 required members. They've had to have these 3 required members for a bit, but we're also asking them to go outside the usual cast of characters. They must have Head Start, local school districts, and representatives from child care as active members of their council. But this year, what we continue to point out is there is a benefit to having your business community involved. There is a benefit to looking for people who you can also make early childhood champions, because the councils want to find out how they can strengthen their council and promote sustainability. As you read through the applications assigned to you, you should see these 3 priorities reoccur throughout their application. Now to you, the reviewer. In order to get you started, we first need to have you complete 2 documents and return them to our office. You should have received copies of these documents as an attachment to the email you received talking about this webinar. If for some reason you did not, please let me know and we will send you a copy of the documents via email. First is the confidentiality agreement. By signing and returning this document, you agree that the information that you review in each application shall remain confidential. Please don't discuss any content with anyone other than another reviewer or a member of the Governor's Office of Early Childhood. The document also requires that you tell our office if you have any potential conflict of interest that exists as a result of participation in this review. We have a non-disclosure agreement. This agreement is your statement that you'll be able to conduct your duties as a reviewer in a non-biased manner. You may email, fax, or mail a copy, but we would prefer an email or a fax, as this ensures that will give you sufficient time to review all of your applications. And as you will see above, everyone will start out with 5 applications. Once you've completed those documents and sent them in, we'll be able to send your applications to you to review. We hope to have our applications out to you by May 19th. Each reviewer will have 5, and you will independently score those 5 applications. We ask that you have completed score sheets plus comments sent back to us on the applications no later than 3 p.m. Eastern Time on Thursday, June 4th. That gives you 10 business days to complete your work. If for any reason you have a work priority or a family matter come up that would delay you meeting the deadline, please contact me at Hazel, HACEL.Combs@ky.gov, or give me a call at 502-782-9471. Now, here are some tips for reviewers. Let's discuss these tips on how you review the applications that you will receive. First, there is a scoring matrix. The matrix can be found in Appendix D of the request for application. The matrix clearly outlines what is required of each component and the points available. We have checked each request for application for the required components prior to sending it to you for your review. If we've missed something that's glaring, please let us know. The required components are not scored. It is important for you to score each application independently. What we mean by that is you should not compare one application to another. Instead, apply the scoring matrix to each application separately. We also recommend that you completely score each application one at a time. So do not, for example, score all 5 project overviews and then go back and score the work plans as a group. This will help you score each one independently. If you have any questions as to what the scoring matrix is looking for, go back to the section of the RFA that describes the section you are working on. Creating good comments is critical to the scoring process. We have provided you a document that describes how to effectively comment on each section. The document also contains tips and examples of how to produce good comments. Use the numbered scoring sheets we provide you to record your scores and comments. The score sheets will be what you turn into our office when you are finished. Also note, we are not scoring on grammar or formatting. We are not counting the pages. We are simply asking you that you look at the document, and you may have to do a little research here. You may have to look around to find what you're looking for in the material. We anticipate everyone will follow a similar format, but that's not always the case. For example, the strategic plan may be included as part of an applicant's project overview. So you may need to look for the required components throughout the document. Please remember, this is very important, y'all. Please remember the council members are all volunteers. They are not paid, the council members, and they're trying to help us move the needle on school readiness. They are not professional grant writers. You're going to notice various levels of quality between applications. Some councils have a lot of experience and have been submitting an application every year since 2000, and some are just new to the process. It may be their first time they've submitted an application. So again, it is important to score strictly by the scoring matrix found in Appendix D. One last issue to address. We all have some personal biases. Please don't let that interfere with your scoring. Don't judge if the grant meets your standard. Take it at face value and score it at face value. Now, required components of the RFA. You may want to turn to Appendix C of the RFA to follow along. First is the required components section. Again, we've already checked all those off. You don't have to worry about them. In case you find something that we haven't seen, we'd be happy to hear from you. Information, again, is going to be in several different sections of each application. For example, the letter of support may be an appendix item, whereas the list describing the membership may be part of the project overview. If you see something that's missing, just take a note and we will review the components again. Just remember to not put it on your score sheet, but to send me an email independently. Here's what your first, your proposal comments. We talked about the required components. Part 2 is community needs. Part 3 is strategic plan. Part 4 is communication plan. And Part 5 is budget and budget justification. Now, community needs. This is the area, it's the Council's tool for recognizing and catalyzing their community's needs. This section's worth 30 points, and when scoring, you should consider the strategic use of the early childhood profile and identifying achievable outcomes. Every county has access to the early childhood profile. They need to utilize the data to determine what does their individual community need. Only the council can make that determination. We need to identify the community's, they should identify the community's strengths and weaknesses. An example would be there is a county that has no organized daycare in that community. That would be a weakness in that community. Review their strategic plan. What are they planning to do? How are they going to accomplish it? And how do they measure the outcomes? Review what they've accomplished in the last year. Here's what that document looks like. Review what this section, review what they've accomplished in the last year. How will they continue that work, or will they course correct to try a fresh approach at addressing the community's needs? The next area is strategic planning. The strategic plan and work plan in the appendix should be the council's narrative on how all the parts fit together. It should describe how the proposed projects will promote school readiness of children in their community. It should specifically state the outcome of each project or activity and how the outcome will be tracked and measured. The strategic plan and work plan should also demonstrate how the council used community data to support their activities. This does not necessarily mean that all or even the most substantial needs were addressed. For example, a council may have noted that access to mental health services is the biggest need in their community. However, due to cost or some other factor, the council did not choose to spend their funds to address that. They may have chose to focus on another need. This is also allowable. The projects or activities should directly be linked to a recognized need. The work plan document, Appendix F, is an attempt to help the council break down their plan in a concise manner that speaks to the strategy, the need, the outcomes, the activities, and measuring and tracking those activities. Here's what the strategic plan section looks for. Communication plan. We have tried to push communication for our council. What we want to know is how the council is using the Governor's Office of Early Childhood's monthly message. We share it with them. Do they post it on their Facebook page? Do they use it on a Twitter account? What plans are in place for communication? And what is the message of the council? How are they sharing their work with the community? Is there a relationship with a local media source? Are they communicating with locally elected officials, businesses, and community leaders? We're looking for the reach of their message. How do they plan to grow their reach, and have they identified their audience? This area only receives 5 points, but we have asked them to expand and explain to us all of their web addresses so we can look at those and just see how good a job they're doing. Now, budget and budget justification are worth 15 points. Every CECC can request a specified amount of money that's outlined in Appendix H of the application. If they are receiving additional monies from any other source, they've been asked to identify that source on their budget submission. One example would be oral health grants provided to 10 of the CECCs. The categories that are provided for in the template are personnel/fringe benefits. Some councils hire staff who do the council's work for them. Their salaries should be listed in this section. Travel would cover members attending a Ready Kids event or the annual CECC training. Additional monies should be set aside and should be delineated for 2 members to attend the CECC training in the budget. Supplies, material, and equipment. This general area would include materials for events. And that would be events in the community that involve the early childhood mission. Stipend and mini grant trainings. Professional development is a common expense for child care professionals. Credentialed trainers are given stipends to provide that professional development training. An example of a mini grant would be purchasing supplies for a center to advance in the STAR quality rating system. Administrative. The fiscal agent can take 5% of the grant off the top, and this is to facilitate the fiscal agent distributing the money. Any item that doesn't logically fall into the other categories I just listed, but would be a reasonable expenditure for the council. So, what are the next steps? So again, thank you for helping us with this important task. We appreciate your assistance and your input. So what happens next? When you submit the 2 forms we require, we'll send you 5 applications via Dropbox. You will be assigned a reviewer number, and we ask that you use that number only when submitting your reviews. Utilize the score sheet and return them to Stephanie DeFrancesco, that's STEPHANIE.DEFRANCESCO.ky.gov upon completion. Please don't wait and send them in all at one time. As soon as you're finished with one, send it to us. We have work to do on our end, and it's going to be better for us if we can get them as soon as you're finished. If you're eligible for compensation, please work with Stephanie upon completion of your reviews. She'll get you your information and get you paid. Now, an important point. We are assigning you 5 reviews. If for some reason you finish those in record time and feel like you'd like to just do a few more, we're happy for you to help us out. Again, if you run into anything that you don't understand or you have a question about, please contact Hazel Combs at ky.gov. So, if you at any time have questions and you're unsure about something, what's allowable, what's not allowable, please give me a call. I'm not going to make a value judgment about the worth of a particular program or strategy. I'm simply going to talk you through what's acceptable or not acceptable if you need that. Please don't destroy your proposals or completed score sheets until you are notified that the review is complete. Again, thank you for your help. We couldn't do this without you. And if you have any questions, get in touch with me. Again, thank you so much. Take care.